the 49ers are right where they want to be. Coming off 2 straight blowout losses, 3-4 just like last year. This is the formula for them. This is 49ers football. And boy, aren't they happy to be playing it. Dad, what do you think of this 49ers football that they've been displaying so far this season?
Well, let's give a little context. When poor Trey Lance got hurt, in the locker room after the game, a lot of the veterans said all the appropriate things. Gee, it's too bad, blah, 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 blah. But then there was hardly suppressed glee that they were going back to Jimmy. And they said, I mean, one of them, was it Juszczyk, said we're going back to 49ers football. Meaning what they did with Trey Lance was some bastardized form, but now they were going back to the real thing.
Yeah.
Well, how did that work out? And I have something to say, then I'll give you the floor.
And it was like their attitude was, look, we've proven with Jimmy Garoppolo that we're a good offense. Why are we fixing something that's not broken? And it's broken. It's so broken. And also the attitude that oh, go ahead.
Hey, you're going ahead of me. What I wanted to say was they were really saying we want to do what we're comfortable with.
Correct.
We want to go into our comfort zone. Yeah. And what I would say, your comfort zone is not enough. You should be asked to do more.
Exactly.
And I think Lance would have done that. Okay, Iggy, to you.
Well, I mean, they proved in 2019 that when they didn't win the Super Bowl that their comfort zone wasn't enough. And this locker room has sort of been in denial about that fact for the last 4 years. And now it's kind of nice about where they're at right now is they have to really confront the reality of what they wanted. This is what they wanted. And it's not just Jimmy Garoppolo. It's Jimmy Garoppolo coming off an offseason where he rehabbed and didn't prepare at all. And it wasn't his fault. The Niners didn't want him to prepare. He was injured. And this team thought that version of Jimmy Garoppolo would be good when, frankly, he's having the worst season of his career, which could have been expected. He's not even great when he's fully prepared and healthy. He's not that right now.
Iggy, did they even give him a playbook during the
No.
And this... Yeah. They dissed him. They dissed him.
Yes.
And then they said, come and save us.
And the players seem to think that would work. It's too bad because Trey Lance was here every step of the way. He went to every freaking practice. He tried so hard to win over the team, and they kind of just held their noses the whole time. And we're like, we want that guy over there who's not preparing because he's not allowed to. That guy's better. Well, is he? He's like right now, he has a worse QBR, which is like the ESPN stat that takes into account game situation and running stuff, than like Geno Smith, Andy Dalton, Mitchell Trubisky, all kind of quarterbacks they could have gotten for cheap who didn't have the locker room behind him. That's why I felt like, man, it's a mistake to bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. The team loves him. They're never going to give Trey Lance a chance. I feel like it kind of played out like that. So now they get what they want. Now they get what they want. Yeah.
You know something else I learned from this or relearned? You can't trust what players say.
Oh, yes, you can.
Absolutely. Games, journalists saying, let's get quotes from this one. Let's get to Tito. Let's talk.
Yeah.
The fact is, they have a very limited perspective.
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan, who I have a lot of issues with, and we'll get to later, he seemed to want the kid to be the quarterback, and he was correct.
We see why.
He wasn't correct in how he used them.
No.
He got him murdered, but he was correct to want him because he thought, and I think, they would have been a better offense with the kid.
Jimmy's too limited.
And so, the players have a different perspective. I don't trust players. I also don't ask players their opinion on political subjects,
right?
On religion. I just ask them about what they do on the field.
But this is a failure of leadership from Kyle. Like, you're not asking your vets for their opinion. They're supposed to fall in line with what you want to do, with your vision for the team. And the fact that he couldn't get them in line, frankly, kind of indicates that he may have lost this locker room to a degree, whatever losing a locker room means. He had a vision for the direction of the team, and it got vetoed by his veteran council. That's not good. I can't see Pete Carroll. Look, if Pete Carroll got vetoed by his vets, those guys wouldn't be on the team anymore. He got rid of all the vets from that. He got rid of Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, so he could start over with young guys who weren't tired of his message. And look, he's winning again. Kyle has been clinging to these vets for 5-6 years, and it seems like they all make more money than him now. They have their own opinions, and you got a dysfunctional team.
You're absolutely right. I agree
Yeah.
with you. And the one that I always come back to, and I apologize, is Bill Walsh, because I knew him the best, and he was the best. Iggy, he would have gotten rid of these guys. You don't buy in, you're out. You're out.
You're out.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you two players he would have gotten rid of already. Kittle,
Yep.
because
McGlinchey.
he's beginning to falter.
McGlinchey.
And Armstead.
Yeah, and McGlinchey.
Oh, McGlinchey.
And McGlinchey.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget him?
Yeah.
I mean, McGlinchey wouldn't have even had all the chances that he's had.
Right.
So you're right. It's the veterans got what they wanted, and it shows how little they know, and they haven't bought into what Kyle's doing, and that's a failure of his.
It is a failure of his. I mean, people seem to be buying into what Robert Saleh's doing in New York. They're 5-2. It's a young team. I mean, he doesn't seem to be having to negotiate with his team about who to play. It seems like Kyle's been negotiating with his team for years. He wanted Trey Lance to play last year. He was trying to do the 2-quarterback system. He was trying to bargain with, what if I play him a little bit? What if I bring him in the red zone? No, we want Jimmy. All right, guys, well, you got Jimmy, and he's exactly what we all said he was. And if this season's going to go anywhere, he's going to have to play pretty well in a way that he hasn't yet. So let's see what you got.
Yeah. And Iggy, I come back to the game when Trey Lance played. You'll remember, situations better than I do, when he was on the ground and McGlinchey and Trent Williams walked right past him and didn't help him up.
Week 1, it was the first quarter. It might have been the second drive. They were in the red zone. He got sacked, and they didn't help him up. McGlinchey sprinted to the sideline. I'm getting away from this crime scene.
And what it meant was nothing against the kid. It meant the coach. Look, we don't endorse.
He's not one of us. He's not one of us.
And that was a visual metaphor for how they disdain Kyle Shanahan. Iggy, that was very bad what they did. Very bad. Small-minded and bad.